Good morning. I'm going to go over the inventory of what I have in Washington State at this time. I have this brunette mermaid sitting on a post. The sign says, Life, Sweet Life. This girl is 11 by 24 inch. She's on a pine board. Most of all of these are on RhondaK.art, RhondaKay.art. And if not, ask me, and they will be. As you can see, the pine wood, when I say pine wood, it means it's going to be thin. Let me pick this one up a little bit. And it's going to be about 1 inch. I will put these together either using rope or wire. This piece, when I say something like cedar, that's going to be very slim. It's going to be very lightweight. And it's going to have a piece in the back that holds the structure together. So when you hang it, it's going to be pretty close to the wall in the same way that is. I'm going to bring this out. This is a saying that I wrote about my dad. Dear Lord, bless the dads that take their little girls fishing. Almost every time when I post this, someone will write like, what about the boys? I'm not a boy. I'm writing from my life. So a lot of times you'll see something that's very specific to myself. And guess what? There's girls like me. And dads usually take their boys fishing, so I'm trying to talk about something that's extra special, very personal, and in my case, life-changing, affirming, and created joy in endless love. I cannot really write to any other experiences. This was mine, and I'm so thankful for it. This is a small sign. I think this is 11 by 11 on the sea called My Soul, and I answer with all my heart. Sometimes I mess that one up, but the sea called my name, all sorts of things like that. This is going to be on a rope. It's a pine board. Hey, look, nothing I do is ever even. I'm usually asymmetrical. I thrive on imperfection. Right now I'm in Washington. I'm even looking at the color this really is. It's a brighter color pink than actually shows. It's really hard for me to take photos in Washington State of my work, especially on a day like today. This is a lovely sign, and I love the sign. Look at this. It is messed up. I cracked the board when I put a nail in it, but guess what? A lot of my work has visible hardware because I love it. Somebody said it was steampunk, but as you can see, these are not steampunk colors. So I find that funny, but it's true. I do have that sort of aesthetic. So I was awesome. I thought it was great. Somebody pointed that out. But I think steampunk is orderly, and I'm more into disorder. Or asymmetrical. Welcome, What Happened Here, we laugh about all week. I love this one, DC. It's uneven. Did you notice what it is? It is uneven. This is going to be on cedar. This is one of the things I sell quite a lot of because it's hilarious. What happens here stays here is never, ever, 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 ever true. Keep that in mind in your shenanigans. Here we go. Life So Deep takes us away. Also 11 by 11, somewhat uneven. It's one of my palm trees. My palm trees will have at least 5 colors in the trunk and about 7 to 8 in the fronds. This is a piece I'm working on. It's kind of strapped up right now. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I have all this terrible winter to figure it out. Choose Joy is really small. I think it's about 6 by 16 inch. You'll see this one piece shoots up like this, and it has one of my hearts. Actually, at my job, I'm an academic librarian here in Washington State for 9 months. I'm using some of my artwork for a program I'm calling The Heart Is. And it's kind of funny to see those things kind of flow in together. This is one of my seahorses. It's currently my favorite kind. And it's on a cedar piece, so it's extremely lightweight. When I have cedar too, I would never want these cedar pieces in the wind because they are not wind resistant. They're very lightweight. So this is 4 inches by 16. This is a double sign. It's got a palm tree and a palm tree under it. This is Walk a Mile, my flip-flops, and bring me back a beer. This is a saying I wrote approximately in 2007. Let me tell you something about my original work. It gets away from me, but this actually was. And this actually was some original work I had at the time that has now since will kindly say gotten away from me, but it was my experience. Walk a mile in my flip-flops to bring me back a beer. It's a very specific story about a thing that actually happened. When I was living on a boat, it was hard to keep my things together, and it was really hard to keep shoes. And the little convenience store from the boat in Cortez, Florida was a little bit, first of all, a walk, and they required shoes. Like this one guy, he was really hard about the shoes, and I hardly had 2 pair at that point. It will rain and you will grow. So let's go back to that story. Another part of the story is one time I was very, very tipsy on the dock and my flip-flop fell off, and I was hoping it would float by the boat where Alan was, and he would bring the flip-flop back to me and also come fetch me in the dinghy. And neither of those things really happened the way I wanted, but I have made money off the idea. This is one of my mermaids. It's a little bit different. She has hanging pieces. I call these charms in a way. At this point, this mermaid has become mine because I don't know how to display it or sell it. Can you imagine trying to display this at a show, especially with the wind blowing? So at this point, I consider her my mermaid. I don't have her on RhondaK art for sale. This is one of my seahorses. That's about 8 inch by 16. When you see these, this is one of my best sellers. I don't really understand why, because it is a little dark, but sometimes my paintings are dark and stormy. This is one of the last mermaids I have. It was in a series of single mermaids that I did. I'd say this is 4 by 16. That is maybe online. Choose joy, keep swimming, open heart, live life. Very colorful. That is about 7. Oh, and uneven. Yes, very uneven. That's 7 by 24 inch. This is my leopard mermaid. Very beautiful. I had her, with COVID and moving to Washington, I've had some sort of like breaks in my, what it is I do. I don't know that this particular mermaid made it to shows. I know it was in Island Chimes for a while, and I'm looking for a place to display my mermaids in Florida, and I might have some good news this year. This one I stopped putting up for sale. She's kind of like my house mermaid. If you see my closet, I have lots of leopard print, and this one's actually delicious. I can always make another one, but this girl currently is mine, much like this. I don't always make wings to hang on a wall. I can. You'll see this is roped together. I actually wore this at an event at the Bradenton Village of the Arts. It's not for sale, but you can see it looks really great. And maybe I should work on that, and probably maybe this summer. It's hard to work on here. And I'll be in Florida all summer. This is 9 by 24 inches. I love my palm trees. They've evolved over time. This one you'll see has quite a few different colors. I'm usually about a 7. This is a sunrise or a sunset with a sea, with a thing. I don't always put words on my work. It varies. That one I decided not to. This is part of a series. It's gone. I really love this series. It started out as a Starfish Company table, actually. And the table said, you probably recognize this is a very classic hearing about wanting to have a phone to heaven so we could call the places we've lost. It was a very popular table, and some of my tables, when I did paint them at Starfish, were some of them more funny, but some of them, there's usually at least one table that would be about loss, not just mine, about others. About people who worked at Starfish, or people who were in Cortez, or people that were in my life. Anyway, that's also where I started doing my pelican piece, We Don't Always Die. But following that is the cloud signs. Now, these have not sold very well. They are gone at this point, because I had them in 4 by. This is a warp sign, so it's never going to go anywhere. I do have some of these. These are, I don't even know what they are, but they're boxed. They're like a very thin wood that I've boxed in. And as usual, you'll see I have visible nails. This is my piece. And here the idea was to build a ladder as opposed to a telephone. And the truth is, I really like this piece and this idea that I had. And maybe I'll fix it. Because while it's awesome, I'm not a rich person. And I need to come up with ideas that do sell and help me make it through life. For instance, if you've ever seen my car, I always talk about I'm going to replace it. I don't want to. My art paid for my car, which was pretty hard to do out of my paycheck. So I'm very thankful about that. And, you know, I consider it when I'm doing my work. All right, this is something I messed up. We love the nights we can't remember, with friends we can't forget. I don't always use this particular background. It's a little bit more peach than I usually use. I painted something for somebody. They picked one of the two. The one I sent had a misspelling on it, which happens quite a lot when I'm painting quite a lot. And the person really got mad at me. So I just refunded it rather than replace it, even though, as you could see, I had a replacement. I'm an artist, people. My feelings get hurt because it was never my intention to hurt somebody like that. So I just let them have their money back. Here we go. Because they kind of said something awful to me, by the way. So it's wine 30. I have these for $5 at Starfish Company in Cortez, Florida only. Now, I could do these if you're having a wedding or you're a realtor and you really love It's Paradise Found. I can make you up a batch. Talk to me. It's not my typical thing that I do every day, but I like making those. One-liners are fun. Like if you can make like 40 one-liners that never repeat and put them up in a show, you have created entertainment, my friends. I've also used them to do fortune telling. I might get back to that because that is pretty hilarious as well. Now, this particular piece is also not for sale. This is a pug. It was supposed to be Jada Pug, who passed some years ago, but in some ways this ended up being Sadie Pug, who passed last year or just the year before. Little pug, big heart, little devil, angel forever. I do paint dogs. I don't do a lot of custom work because it's really hard to fit that kind of emotion in my life, which may sound weird, but if you've asked somebody to do something custom, they are kind of taking on something that's not like your normal artist workload, and the normal artist workload is pretty hard in itself. Anyway, it's wine 30. This is my rabbit, supposed to be. She didn't actually look like that, but that's her attitude. That's Lola Bun. She died this summer. This, to some degree, is me when I finally get in the water and I'm paddling around in the sea with all the creatures. And you'll see that's happiness. This may be up for sale, but I don't think it's going to find its person. I think I am its person. In parts, it matches a tattoo on my left hand. Well, arm. I haven't got bold enough to do hands. Paradise Found, just another beautiful day. Has 3 sayings on the side. Seize the day. Keep swimming. The tide always changes. I like you'll see when I'm displaying my work, I put my pieces over pieces. I kind of get it's my aesthetic. It may not be yours. Yours may be like nothing around it. Here's this little baby. Oh, it's very thin. It's very lightweight. This one hasn't found a lot of love. I don't know why, honestly. Because even in this light here in Washington, which I consider to be poor, it's kind of gorgeous. It kind of has a mood. This also maybe something I never sell. The way back home. If you ever seen my astronaut mermaid series, you've seen this guy. Sometimes I sell him by himself, really small. And it was my goal to make more of them, to sell him small, because I really like the idea of this little floating astronaut fish. Here we have lots of bubbles. We have lots of damage and unevenness. And we see also that the little glass bowl around the fish is kind of not entirely that even, and is somehow and somewhat feeling the pressure of the exterior world. These things are not mistakes, by the way. Some of my mistakes are not mistakes. So let's get down to some things here on the floor that are definitely for sale. And here's my pile of coats, people. It looks like the snow is sort of going away. This is a 12-inch by 16-inch. Welcome to the bar. Live, love, laugh. Live, love, laughter, and friends. Welcome, sorry. And rum. What happens here, we drink about all week. Now, oftentimes I'll redo and rewrite common sayings, and that is one way. And out of my what happens here, the drink about it all week is my personal favorite. Laugh all week is you guys' personal favorite. Welcome. Stop thinking, start drinking. Also do stop tripping and start sipping. What happens here, we laugh about all week. And that's pink. This piece I haven't filled in yet. I was also just leaving it in case somebody had a custom order, because these are hard. And I had to paint 3 or 4 of these this year, and they're hard. It's a bordered sign. So what happens is I fill in all these signs. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sayings. And then each one of the bordered signs. So this could be 10 sayings altogether plus the name of the bar. If you see my work, a lot of times you'll see the name of the bar or the tiki bar or the place is Seahab. Seahab is a concept I picked up in Cortez, Florida. It often referred to fishermen that might have been having lots of drinkies, etc. on shore. And then when they go out to sea, it's sort of a rehab, calling it a Seahab. I know. Clever. Not my idea. It's sort of a common Cortez idea. And I'm not sure how well it carries in other places, but it's probably something common in commercial fishing circles, perhaps, and other places that work on the sea. Welcome to the bar. Happy hour 365, 24/7. What happens here, we drink about all week. Always a sign that Rhonda's like, I like it. I love the saying better. We don't have it all together, but together we have it all. These are all pretty traditional sayings with one RhondaK thing about it. Seize the day. Live life so deep it takes your breath away. That's 2 sayings on one sign. And finally we have sunrise is God's daily I love you. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I feel like that's one of my mother's favorite things that she said to us. I can't say it's her favorite Jesus saying. If you've ever been around me when my mom was selling with me, it was not unusual to see her do, because she did paint with me at one time, which is another story. If someone was sick or ill or suffering, it was not unusual to see my mom praying for people there at the show and other things like that. My mother is a very kind, lovely, wonderful person. And she wanted the people to be happy. She was really fun at shows, but let me tell you, shows are hard on the soul. Go on and get a little bit sideways. And I'm going to have a few other I'm reaching over for. Go on and get a little sideways is like 7-inch by 16. This is 7 and 16. You can't drink all day unless you start at sunrise. This is very important. This is a classic thing. There's actually a sign like this on Bridge Tender in Bradenton Beach. I hope to one day replace with my own version. Okay. Make today joyful. Roll with the tides. Live so deep life takes your breath away. That's going to be very 7-inch by 24. This is a very big piece. I've sold, this is the 3rd one I have. It's not exact to the others, but it's a mood. Can you tell it's a mood? Remember I said visible hardware, unevenness, damage. Yeah, it's part of my thing. This is my very super cute seahorse. See it very large. This is going to be 18 by 24 inches. It's quite large. This is definitely on RhondaK.art if you want to go through and look at that. Sometimes the things on RhondaK.art may be in Florida, at which point I go, hey, this is in Florida. I'm not going to be there, in this case, till June. Could I redo it? And then I redo it. I'll paint like 2 or 3, according to what it is, and then see which one you like. And that does 2 things. It makes sure I have something in the inventory, and it also makes sure you have your choice. Sometimes my second or third paintings are better, and sometimes they're not. In this case, I thought it was, to be frank with you, because the original, all the words were in the top two signs, and this is a replica where I thought I would spread them out. But in the end, the original won out, so I have this one. This is the other mermaid I have for sale. You notice I had the one on wall with us, a brunette. This girl is blonde. There's just no saying on her sign. She has a slightly ornate tail. She has a heart tattoo on her back in what some people call the tramp stamp area, but I think this is just gorgeous cuteness. I think my mermaids on Bridge Street mural, at least one of them has a heart tramp stamp. I'm not sure. Lots of people take pictures of those, by the way. This is my son with my girl. She is aqua and green. The background's kind of like the one I first started with. I have to look at it. The Sea Called My Soul. And this is kind of like the same kind of background thing going on. Some of these are not flat. They actually have a little bit of texture to them. And that varies whether or not I'll have texture in the art or not. It's kind of a quirkiness. I can't tell you why I make one decision and not the other. But this particular mermaid is actually quite gorgeous. Is not a good sign or a good piece to put out in full sun. The pink in direct sun will fade to a pale pink, and the yellows will also fade. Sometimes when you see my pieces, you're like, wow, that's a lot of color. Keep in mind, those colors don't stay. And I paint my signs to survive as much as they can, because nothing's perfect. To become different signs over their lifetime, this wood might look very different in a few years than it does now. Right now it looks very bold. But if it's out in the sun or something, it's going to sort of look more, I don't know, lived in itself, different, calmer, something like that. And that's why I love working with wood and color and sun. And my stuff never really lasts. But sometimes I'm quite surprised how long it lasts and carries on and becomes parts of pictures and things I see on Instagram. And I kind of know sometimes I show up in the back, because recently below the bridge, St. Lucia did have one of those signs, but it was a classic sign. It wasn't something I'd written myself, and it was very basic. And I probably had painted it about 2007. I've been out this almost 20 years. And the thing about it was I'm frequently in the background of things, but not in the foreground. So it's like I have these near misses of discovery. But you guys are here, so you've discovered me, so I am discovered, and I thank all of you for that. Most of these should be on RhondaK.art. If not, let me know. RhondaK.art. I don't do a lot of custom work, but I can pull together different aspects of things I've painted into a piece. And again, I say that because it's just hard. It's emotionally difficult when most people's custom pieces have stories. And I've had, losing the pets the past year, I'll just focus on this one right here, it's taken a lot out of me. So I'm still working with that. But I'll be painting. I have so many ideas that I want to work on, and I'm going to start that today. Even though it's cold, I slept all day yesterday because of the darkness. But I'm going to keep swimming.